how I went from graduating with psychology and honors at a university in South Africa, that's where I'm from, and traveled around Europe with one of my best friends. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, I'm Amy, and the kinds of videos I usually do are about self-development books. I give my insights and a summary of them so that by the end of the video you feel like you read the book and gleaned the most important points and tools and strategies from them. I know I've gained about 270 subscribers from when I started my channel, and I thought it might be interesting or different just to get to know a little bit about me, who I am, and what my journey's been like. And I also think that hopefully maybe some parts of my journey, or maybe the whole journey, will help you in some way. Maybe you'll feel like you can relate. Maybe you feel like it offers a new perspective to something that you're dealing with, whether or not you're working on self-growth or career changes or any new challenge or obstacle in your life. So basically, I'm going to explain how I went from graduating with psychology and honors at a university in South Africa, that's where I'm from. I know I've gotten one or two comments asking where I'm from. And then I'll speak about I went and traveled around Europe with one of my best friends, and then came back and I worked in corporate for about a year until very recently, to when I discovered coaching and wanting to explore that and moving away from the stable job and focusing on my passion and the things that I get very, very excited about. So I hope you enjoy. So to start with a bit of background, I've always really enjoyed self-development or self-improvement, and I've also had a strong desire to help people for a long time. And so that led me to study psychology at university, which I did really love. And I was focusing on self-improvement at the time in the sense of studying and being as good as I can at that. And I actually graduated at the top of my faculty, which was a super proud moment for me. And I was really happy, given that I was actually the first person in my family to graduate from universities. My plan was to work really hard in my honors year and then apply for a scholarship to study masters overseas. And I really tried. I had my heart set on this in so many ways and did absolutely everything in my power. And I unfortunately didn't get that scholarship, which was a huge knock. And I think I see that now and realize that now. I think at the time I didn't really want to admit it to myself as much. Having your heart set on something and it not working out in the way that you'd hoped, it's really difficult. That's when I turned to coaching or being coached. And this was really quite pivotal for me because there were a couple of things that I wasn't fully happy with, but as I said before, I don't think I was fully admitting it to myself. And so through the work of coaching, I was able to leave a relationship where I wasn't fully happy or fulfilled. And I also realized that travel was something I still really wanted to do. And I didn't have to let this obstacle of not getting that scholarship stop me from living something that I really wanted to, or having experiences that I really wanted to. And I actually turned to making steps forward rather than letting fears and what ifs control the way that I live my life. I just really wanted to act in alignment with my values and what makes me me, instead of just letting life happen to me and developing kind of like a chip on my shoulder. It's not always a great feeling to feel like life is happening to you rather than you being purposeful about what you do. So this mindset shift pushed me to make the decision to still travel, as I mentioned, even though I didn't get that scholarship. So what I did instead was I went to Workaway. I'm not sure if you've heard it, but basically you go on the site, there's loads of opportunities where you can work for your stay. I really didn't have the ability to just travel and not be able to have my accommodation looked after. The exchange rates in South Africa, especially compared to Europe, is absolutely crazy. I went with one of my best friends and we worked in Spain in the Andalusian mountains, and then we went to France. We traveled a bit in Paris at first and then worked in the south of France at a wedding venue. And with our leftover time, because we had a 3-month visa, we went to Italy and then we went to Greece. And it's just memories that I'll hold so close to my heart for the rest of my life. And I'm so, so grateful for all that it taught me. I honestly don't think I would have made the decision to go and travel had it not been for the kind of thinking that I did in those coaching sessions. So I'm really, really grateful for what that allowed me to do. Because ultimately, also what I learned from that is just to take the steps forward towards the life that I want instead of letting those what ifs control me and what I do. Then after traveling, I'm not going to lie, when I returned home back to South Africa, I really wanted a routine. I'm a person that really likes routine. The living out of a bag thing is fun for a while, but personally, I can't do it for that long. So I really just wanted a stable job, a 9 to 5, and I wanted to be able to kind of use my brain in the work that I did, because a lot of the work that I did whilst working and traveling was manual or physical labor. So this led me to work in corporate as a consultant, and I worked there from September of 2023 up until very recently. Now here's the thing, there's definitely a sense of security and stability that comes from working a corporate job or a job that's 9 to 5 that has a steady income. And there's nothing wrong with that. I would never put anybody's way of living down necessarily. I just knew that it wasn't a right fit for me and that something was missing. And I realized that it really is easy to settle for something that is safe rather than thinking about or pursuing something that really makes you excited. And I think I could, as you've probably noticed, talk a lot on the topic of leaving something that's secure, be it a relationship, job, whatever it is, country, for something that might be a little bit scarier but has more potential to be fulfilling. So as I mentioned, whilst I was working my corporate job, I did feel like something was missing, and that led me to come across a coaching course, which was really exciting, and it actually was somewhat magical because the ad came up and it kind of felt like the stars aligned. And everything just fell into place with the course. It was expensive, it was an investment for me to do, but I felt excited about it and something in me just knew it was the right thing. And honestly, that course was such a game changer. Learning about coaching not only gave me all of those necessary skills, but really made me a better person. And it really felt like finding a piece of me or a version of me that I'd been looking for. So it was really empowering to kind of be able to marry those two things that I love so much, being self-development, self-improvement, and really wanting to help people. And so this leads me and us to where I am today. I decided to leave that corporate job, which was a difficult choice, but I do think the right one. And I am pursuing opening my own coaching practice alongside a number of other things that I do. You might have seen on this channel, I may have mentioned, I also teach yoga. I also give talks on mental health topics and a number of other things. YouTube being something I'm wanting to build up too. I do feel like I'm on a path that's more aligned with who I am and what makes me excited to wake up and start the day. However, I will be real and I will admit that I do feel slightly scared. I'm further along in my journey than I was, but I'm still at a point where I don't have everything figured out, and I'll probably never will, but I know that with time, certain things will fall into place and I will feel like I know more than I did and that I know what the future looks like. Although probably a common pattern you've seen throughout a number of the things I've explained, I don't want the fear to be the thing that holds me back. I want to be guided by what feels right, by my values, by the things that excite me, rather than being guided by my fears, by the what ifs. And I wanted to share my story or a bit of my journey because I know that Our journeys look different and we're on different points in our journeys, but I thought there might be something that you could gain or relate to. And then I thought I would wrap everything up with a few key takeaways from some of the things that I've learned and that I continue to use going forward. The first one is make your head a safe space and yourself a safe space to come home to or back to. It's so important that in your head, in your internal environment, this is where you feel safe. It's so important that you feel like you support yourself and you have your own back, because ultimately the longest relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself. So really work on the way that you speak to yourself and what's going on in your head, because that needs to be the safest place, because there's a lot of things out there that are scary and that are going to hold you back. So don't let that be in your head. The second one is very similar. Don't disappoint yourself, even if that means you have to disappoint other people. I know it's very scary and we never want to upset other people, but sometimes in prioritizing your own values and happiness, that might mean that you let other people down, and that is okay. It's going to happen because you can't keep everybody else happy whilst doing what's right for you. And you just need to make sure that when you go to bed at night, you feel like you're doing right by you, because as much as you have people that love you and support you, the only person who's ultimately responsible for you is you. So just make sure that you make the choices that you make in your own interest, not in a selfish way, but for your own growth and fulfillment. Anything is actually possible. The only thing that limits you are the fears or excuses that you make up in your head. And I realize I'm not trying to reduce those. They're very serious and they can feel quite debilitating. But perspective is everything, and working on overcoming those fears and excuses and literally counteracting them with action steps and ways forward is so incredibly life-changing. Because even the most successful people were scared right before they took the risks that made them successful. The difference is they didn't let that fear hold them back, and that same thing can be said for you and what you want to achieve. So those are 3 key takeaways from my journey and things that really guide the way that I live today. I know I'm still on my journey and there's plenty more that I still want to learn, but I hope some parts of my story will encourage you to be brave and take those steps towards things that you truly want. If any part of my story resonated with you, I'd really love to hear from you. Please comment down below. I'd love to see what you relate to or what you feel actually you could learn from. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a like. It really supports my channel and I would like to work on growing this community. And that way you also won't miss out on any of my book reviews where I tell you about self-development books and give you a nice summary of them. And I'll give you coaching tips too, as well as other content on self-growth and improvement. Also, if there was anything in this video that was interesting to you, like going through Workaway to travel, or maybe studying psychology at university, if anything was a bit interesting to you and you would want to hear more on it, I'd be happy to make another video on that topic if that's something you'd like to see. So let me know down below if there was something that you're curious about that you would like to hear more of. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.